Hello everybody and welcome to another mystery box function challenge. In the purple box is some mystery math and your challenge is to figure out what it is. You can use the link in the description, put in as many numbers as you like, and when you think you've got an answer, come on back and see if we get the same thing. Alright, let's begin with a 0. Okay, so 0 gives us 8. How about a 1? And 1 gives us 0. Okay, and how about a negative 1? Oh, so negative 1 gives us 32. That's way off the graph. Let's keep going to the right then. How about a 2? And 2 are back up at 8. Okay, so it looks symmetrical across that line x equals 1. What happens if I put in a 3? We get that 32. So we've just got 3 points that we can see here, and then we've got 2 other points that we've got the numbers for. What do you think? Does this look more like an absolute value or more like a quadratic? So I'm going to say quadratic because here we go from 0 up to 8, 0 up to 8, but then the next turn we go from 8 up to 32. So it looks like a curve to me. We could see this better if we put in some fractional values. I'm going to put in 1/2, and I'm going to put in 3/2. And there, I think you can maybe see a little bit better the curve. It's fairly narrow. So I think we've got a quadratic here. And I think there's a pretty big multiplier on it. So our function is going to be something times, well, now it's also been moved over 1 from the origin here. The vertex is not at the origin, it's 1 over. So what that means is that inside parentheses you actually use the opposite sign. So instead of a +1, it's a -1. And then we square all that. And then we've got our multiplier. The way I suggest you'd figure out the multiplier in situations like this is to look at those points that are 1 away from the vertex. So if we look at the point, well, if we look at the point 0 here, we're up at 8. So I think what that means is our multiplier is 8, but we should test this out with a couple of values. If you put a 0 in there, 0 minus 1 is -1. Square that, it's a +1 times 8 is 8. That makes sense. If we put in a 2, 2 minus 1 is 1. 1 squared is 1 times 8 is 8, so that's good. Does this, if we put in a -1, will we get a 32? So let's try that. 8 times -1 minus 1 quantity squared. Well, -1 minus 1 is a -2, and then we square that and we get a 4, and 8 times 4 equals 32. So I think we've got this. I think our multiplier is 8. Let's go ahead and take a look. Yeah, 8 times x minus 1 quantity squared, and we can graph that as well. We've got that very narrow parabola. Well, how did that go for you? Did you see that this was a quadratic? Let me know. Thanks, everybody.